Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the class on solutions. We have just discussed about Raoult's law. So based on Raoult's law, solutions are classified into three types. We will look at one by one. What are ideal solutions? Solution of two or more constituents is said to be ideal if it obeys Raoult's law exactly at all temperatures and pressures. Say for example, if we draw a graph of vapor pressure versus composition, or we can say mole fraction, a graph of vapor pressure versus mole fraction. Say this side we have solvent A mole fraction and this side we have solvent B mole fraction. As we know, if it is pure A, then mole fraction of A is equal to 1. If it is pure B, mole fraction of B is equal to 1. And because the mole fraction of A is 1, we also know that XA plus XB is equal to 1. So XB is 0. That means here we do not have B. Similarly, here we do not have A. Now, this compound will have a pure vapor pressure of A0, PA0, and B will have a pure vapor pressure of PB0. What are ideal solutions? If it obeys Raoult's law at all temperatures and pressures. Say for example, when we increase the mole fraction of B, its vapor pressure will increase up to PB0, right? When we increase the amount of B slowly, then vapor pressure of B will increase and it reaches a maximum of PB0. Similarly, if we increase amount of A, this is amount of A, then vapor pressure of A will increase and it will reach a maximum of PA0. For example, if we have a position D where we have this much amount of B and this much amount of A, then what is the resultant? According to Raoult's law, the total pressure must be equal to partial pressures of A and partial pressures of B. Here, the partial pressure of B is this much, the partial pressure of A is this much. That means we need to add these two terms. We need to add, say for example, it is P1, it is P2, then the mixture at this point, the actual pressure of the solution will be P1 plus P2, P1 plus P2. Now you just imagine, we need to increase this much only, right? To P2, we need to add P1 to P2. So P1 is this much, P2, when we add P2, it becomes somewhere like this. So this is what ideal solutions are. Since these two mixtures, mixture of A and B behaves ideally at all temperatures and pressures, the resultant pressure will be this one. This is resultant, or you can say vapor pressure of solution, vapor pressure of solution, resultant vapor pressure of solution. I'll give some examples for this type of solutions. Benzene plus toluene. Benzene and toluene, they will not mix with each other. This is N-butyl chloride and N-butyl bromide. They will form an ideal solution. I'll give the heading for this graph also. The behavior of an ideal solution with two components A and B are drawn here. For an ideal solution, the important characteristics are the activity of each constituent is equal to its mole fraction. Activity term has a similar meaning as concentration or mole fraction. So the activity of each constituent is equal to its mole fraction. That is, activity coefficient is equal to mole fraction in the case of ideal solutions. The change in volume of mixing is 0. That means if we add compound A in 50 ml and compound B in 50 ml, then the total volume will be 50 plus 50, 100 ml. The total volume will be 50 plus 50, 100 ml. So the change in volume of mixing is 0. That means when we mix two substituents, two solvents, which form an ideal solution, then the total volume must be equal to the sum of the volumes of its individual constituents. Similarly, the change in enthalpy of mixing is 0. Enthalpy of this system will also never change. So enthalpy of mixing is also 0. Also, delta S mixing, that means entropy change is always a positive quantity. That means, as we know, entropy is an order parameter. That means when we are standing in a line, we will have very low entropy. Whereas when we don't stand and we stand in a random fashion, then we have an entropy, very large entropy. So that's what entropy is. Entropy is an order parameter. Because we are mixing two components, the total entropy, total order will be high. So the entropy of mixture is always greater than entropy of individual components. So that is why delta S mixing is a positive term. Similarly, free energy change, delta G, G is the free energy change. Free energy change is always a negative quantity. As we know, for a spontaneous reaction, delta G, free energy change, must be a negative quantity. The free energy of product must always be less than the free energy of the reactant. then only the reactant can easily convert it to product. So that is why for a spontaneous reaction, free energy change is always a negative quantity. You can compare this like a water flow. You know, when water wants to flow up uh, from up to down, it is very easy for it. You don't need to give any energy. Instead, it will release its energy and it will come down. But if we want to lift the water to upside, then we will supply energy. So that's what. So for a free energy, for a spontaneous reaction, delta G is always a negative term. Change in free energy is always a negative term. Based on Raoult's law, the solutions are classified into second type as ideally dilute solutions. What is a dilute solution? A solution where the fraction of solvent is very, very less. It is called dilute solution. Now, what is ideally dilute? If the fraction of solute is almost zero, it is not zero, but it is almost zero, then it is called as ideally dilute solution. When we say the fraction of solute is almost zero, then the fraction of solvent is always 1, because XA plus XB is equal to 1. So a solution in which solvent mole fraction approaches unity is called an ideally dilute solution. Hence, the concentration of all solutes is negligible. So the third type of solutions based on Raoult's law is real solutions or non-ideal solutions. Most of the solutions show deviation from the ideal behavior. You know, you cannot expect ideal behavior for all mixtures. So most of the time, 99% solutions will show some deviation from the ideal character. So these are called real solutions or non-ideal solutions. The real solutions are again classified into three types. The real solutions are again classified into three types. First one is type 1 solutions. What are type 1 solutions? These solutions show small positive deviation. These solutions show small positive deviation from the ideal behavior. But the total pressures remains within the vapor pressures of pure components. What are these type 1 solutions? Type 1 solutions, this is cyclohexane plus carbon tetrachloride. Type 1 solutions show a small positive deviation. That means their total pressure is little excess than the ideal character. As we know, on the x-axis we will take vapor pressure, on y-axis we take vapor pressure, and on x-axis we take mole fraction. One side we will take pure A, other side we will take pure B. Here mole fraction of A is 1. Here mole fraction of B is 1. Now we know ideal solutions. What are ideal solutions? Ideal solutions are the components which show this type of character, right? That means the total pressure of the solution will be equal to the partial the pressures of both components A and B at any point of time. Now what are ideal type 1 solutions? They will show small positive deviation. That means their vapor pressures, the sum of vapor pressures is always little higher than the ideal character. So the dotted line is ideal character. The dotted line is ideal character. Whereas this thick line represents real behavior in the solution. So the type 1 solutions will always show a small positive deviation. Positive means the total pressure will be little higher than the ideal character. Now the individual liquids also will show a small positive deviation in the solution. That means its pressure will be less higher than the ideal character, and its pressure is also higher than the ideal character. These are called type 1 solutions.